Alright guys, so I'm just going to get straight into this. This isn't aimed at anyone in particular, but I feel like there's a lack of understanding of how tough it actually is to be an artist or a content creator. Unless you've tried it, I feel like most people just don't realise how much time and effort is required to produce something really good. You may watch your favourite YouTuber every day and think, wow, I wish I could do their job, it looks so fun and easy. But it's not quite like that. Behind the scenes, the amount of time and effort it requires is staggering, especially if there's someone who creates high quality content. You don't think about it when you watch or listen to it because it just happens. It's like real life, it's happening right in front of you, you're engaged with it. But for content creators, actually coming up with the ideas for engaging content and planning it is a tough thing to do. Daily vlogs are something that are really overlooked. Whilst there might not be really high-end quality professional content, daily vloggers are actually incredible really. Like Roman Atwood, you are literally pressurising yourself to create engaging content every day. And that's the same day that you meant to be filming and editing the idea that you came up with the day before, and so on and so on. And this is why he actually stopped daily vlogging. And in his most recent vlogs, when he made a return to daily vlogging, he explained this and he literally said that now he just doesn't care. He's just filming whatever because he can't handle the stress of it anymore. So that's what it's like for daily vloggers and established popular content creators. But for people like me who haven't found popularity yet, it's even harder because we have to set aside a lot of our time to create all this content, not knowing if it's even going to get us anywhere. If you've seen my recent music video for Scapegoat Avarice, the video and the song has a really strong focus on what it's like to be a content creator. Basically, the background behind the story is that James, who is Scapegoat Avarice, along with loads of other artists, spend days and months writing and recording songs, and with the amount of competition there is nowadays, a lot of their work just doesn't pay off, and as a result, they end up feeling worthless. It has a big impact on them mentally. It may sound a little sad, but in reality, it's what happens. This in turn then makes creating more content even more difficult because they now have no motivation or reason to keep doing it other than sheer passion and enjoyment. But to do the things that you enjoy, you've got to work and earn a living. And if you're not earning any money from your content, you can't afford to keep on doing it whether you want to or not. And unfortunately, I'm in the same situation. I'm getting to the point now where I can't continue to take the risk of will I make it, because I need to be spending my time focusing on actual work that I can definitely earn a living from. The amount of time that's went into my web series 4 Idiots is unbelievable, and during that time I've had to make compromises in order to get the series done. This brings me on to the next thing about being a content creator, which is editing. And the time required to edit good quality content is again unbelievable. Here's a screenshot of one of the 4 Idiots episodes. For people who have no idea about editing, every line is a cut, and then on top of that you have all the audio, visual effects and colour grading. I didn't time it, but on average I reckon it took me around 50 hours to edit each 4 Idiots episode, and there's 7 of them. That's 350 hours. If I was being paid minimum wage of an editor, to do that I would have earned upwards of 3.5 grand, but instead I've made 0. And that's just the editing. That's not the filming, marketing or pre-production process. Now this isn't a complaint at all. Whilst I am disappointed with how the series is done, I'm not ranting and I'm not angry that I've worked, all of that time for no money, because I have a passion for it. But the point that I'm trying to get at is, try finding 350 hours of your time spare when you have a full-time job, which I'll need to get because I'm not making any money from my content. So the dark truth is that currently at this point in time, the way things are going makes it incredibly difficult for 4 Idiots to continue onwards. And at this point I am going to ask anyone who really does care about 4 Idiots to share our content, and if you're feeling really generous, donate to our Patreon page. I'll have links to everything in the description. Moving on from that, if you haven't heard about all the news surrounding Article 13, this is yet another thing that will probably make it harder for content creators. It's a proposed EU law that aims to cut down on copyright, which is essentially going to kill the meme industry and many other aspects of the internet. Also with this, it sounds like you will literally have to prove that every bit of content is yours, because the machines that detect copyright on popular sites like YouTube aren't going to be able to tell otherwise, so we'll just automatically flag your video and ban it in EU countries. And that's all to stop the risk of that platform being sued. But aside from this content, creators have to deal with a lot of legal things anyway, such as, just everyday things like hiring accountants to keep track of their earnings, and once you start getting into the more higher end productions, you've got to pay ridiculous amounts of money for filming permits and tax. Now this doesn't really apply to the average YouTuber, but for content creators with higher end, more professional productions, the cost of things is another really overlooked aspect, especially funding the equipment. With this, the same goes for a lot of other industries as well. Like, have you ever had a quote from someone to do a job and you've just thought, like, after it, like, what the hell, why is that so expensive? Well, let me show you this. In the average music video, I was using a Steadicam, which not only takes a lot of training and time to master and set up, but it also costs an absolute fortune. Now, obviously all of this gear belongs to my university, as well as the camera that I'm filming this on. But if you have a look online for the prices of it, the Steadicam and all its accessories is around £5,000. But if you scroll down a little bit and look at all the individual parts, the bit of metal that sits on top of the stand holding the Steadicam when you aren't using it costs over £100 for a bit of metal with holes in it. And the camera that I'm using for this is also around, $3 to $4 grand. Sorry if this video was really ranty and negative, but as I said at the start, I really feel like people just don't appreciate what it's like to be a content creator. So I hope you have learned something from this that may change how you view them, especially if they haven't uploaded in a while and you're annoyed at them. My next video will probably be another one like this, but about mental health, because I've got quite a lot to say about that as well. So yeah, thanks for watching this, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope this wasn't too awkward, this random setup. Let us know what you think.